Hey fellow Star Citizens, Scrap Chat here. In today's episode, we'll be looking at the home section only of one of the most important websites available to Star Citizen players, the DPSCalculator at erkul.games. The DPSCalculator provides a lot of functionality that are critical for anyone who enjoys playing Star Citizen. I'll summarize what they are here, and we'll look at the website in detail. If you find this information helpful, please subscribe and make sure to smash that like button. It helps me to know that this is the type of content people are looking for. Alright, let's get started. First, let me start by saying there is no official manual for this website, at least none that I've been able to find so far. Most of the statistics listed here are also not well documented either. So for the most part, I use this site to help configure ships I own or want to own, and look up where I can purchase ships and components. Feel free to leave comments about anything you may be able to shed some light on that I'm covering here. That being said, let me show you what I figured out. Also, as an aside, I'll be completely off script, so be prepared for a parade of ums and so's. Let's talk about the main menu first. There's a main menu along this left side of the browser. We'll be covering the home section only throughout this video. So the header, this part right here, has several options to it. One is it lets you select data from either current live game or PTU. So I'll click on this. And as you can see right now, the PTU is closed, but you can obviously still select live. Then there's you can view the change log. I don't actually really know what this really does for us. I just looked at it. This is the first time I actually looked at it, and I just don't see any really useful information for me. But it's there, so you can look at it if you wish. Then there's a shopping cart. And we'll get a little more into this later on in this video. However, what it does is if you want to add things to a cart that you can then later on review and use when you are trying to make your purchases in-game. So for instance, these are a bunch of components I decided I wanted for a Titan Avenger. And what you can do is you can download a CSV file, which you can then pull into Excel if you want, or however you want to view your CSV file. And you can also empty the cart. Here, I'll empty it. So now it's completely empty. But it gives you a lot of information about different components that you're interested in buying in-game for your ships. So I click close. And then there's the count, little count person, and that lets you either log in or log out, do account recovery, that sort of thing. Let me log in. Looks like I'm not logged in. Let's look at that again. Now I'm in. There we go. So it lets you log out, change your password, delete all the items in your hangar, and we'll get to the hangar in a little bit, or delete your account. So that's the account, and then there is over here settings, and this allows you to do a couple of things, mostly dealing with appearances, but this one is pretty important. I didn't really even notice this one until tonight when I was working on this. There's a classic, and then there's a table and this is for how components and weapons are displayed when you make a selection for if you're making a change to it from one component to another. It's how it'll display in the website, and we'll see that in a minute. But I'm going to leave it as table for right now, and we'll come back and we'll switch it back to classic and see what the differences are. And you can do panel rotations. I haven't played with this yet, and I'm afraid to. I don't know what that's going to do, but I'm just going to leave. If you want to play with that, go right ahead. Theme, you can change it from light to dark. I am on dark right now. If I change to light, you get that. I prefer dark, and I think, you know what, actually let's close it, and there we go. So that's light. That's a little too light for me. I actually prefer the dark version. I think most people I've seen using this, they use the dark version as well. You can show tips on startup. I don't bother with that, but you can if you want. And that's all there is to settings. So that's the entire header, and that shows up regardless of what section of the DPSCalculator you're in. You'll always see this header section. So the first section we're going to be talking about here is called the calculator, which we were kind of already in already. The calculator displays all of the components for a selected ship along with data specific to the ship, and is broken up into the following sections. We have a components weapons section, which is all this right in through here. We'll talk about that right now first, and then I'll go over all the other different sections. And they do interact a little bit, so we'll kind of jump around a little, but basically what you can do is this is the standard loadout for an Avenger Titan. Let's say I wanted to change it, and instead of having a Mantis GT220, I wanted something else in there instead. So what I can do is I can click anywhere in here, and it'll drop down, and this is the table version that we were just talking about in settings. But this is a table version of all the different component or different weapons that you can replace that, what was it, the Mantis? Yeah, the Mantis GT220 with. So any one of these you can replace it, and this gives you additional information about it. And most of these numbers I honestly don't know what most of them mean, and they really usually don't even apply to what I'm thinking when I'm putting a weapon in anyway. So anyway, and it gives you the size, which I'm pretty sure it'll always be the same because it's the size of what can go in that slot. The name, the type, and the cool thing is you can actually, like I say, I only want to look at laser repeaters. I can go in filter and type in laser repeater. There we go. So now we only see laser repeaters. Or if I wanted to see only cannons, possibly only laser cannons, we only see laser cannons. So that's really pretty cool. I like that a lot. That's pretty neat because some of these lists do get a little long. So I'll pick. Let's pick a laser cannon. There we go. So this gives you the information about the laser cannon. That's pretty much how you change different items for your ship. Now there you see this little blue guy right here. If you click on that, which kind of we already did, but I'll click on this one for the Badger. I'll click on that, and now if you look down here, this section down here just changed, and I think I'm calling that. Oh, what am I calling that? I'm calling that the Ship Weapon Components Detail section. But this is great. This tells you everything you want to know about that component or weapon, as well as a little paragraph about it. And most importantly, it tells you where you can buy it and how much it costs. That is awesome. And if you want to, you can add it to your cart. Although I'll show you, I think, an even better way to add things to your cart. But you could just click on this here, and as you can see, item added to my cart. And if I click on this, you now see I have in my cart the Badger. So it even tells you where you can buy it, and you can change that if you want to. Like I say, I don't really want to go to the center mass on Area 18 because I'm up in New Babbage. There you go. And then when you download the CSV, it'll have all that information in there for you. So close that. So that's what this left side does here. The little blue, it'll turn blue. The right side though will toggle power whether it's on or off. I don't really get into that part of this, so I don't know why you would want to turn it on or off really, but you can do it. I mean, obviously it impacts, as you can see over here, it impacts some of the statistics about power and cooling. So there you go. Now if we scroll back to the top of the website, there's a section here called priority or power priority. Again, I really don't deal with the power side of how I add components to my ships, but what you can do is you can manipulate how much power you're putting to shields or engines or weapons, and you can see the values are changing, and you know that, I guess that may impact your selection. I don't know, but like I said, I don't really play with this very much. Alright, and then actually a very important section of this over here, I'm calling this ship storage. So what you can do is you can have up to 4 different, which I don't exactly understand why you would need this, but they have it set up so you can have actually 4 different, there we go, load it up. 4 different designs at the same time that you could be moving between at any given time. Again, I don't know why you necessarily need this, but it's there. So we'll stick with the Avenger Titan. It shows a little picture of your ship, and of course, and then down here you have several options for doing different things. One is, let's say we wanted to switch to a different ship. So select ship or vehicle, click on that, and that gives you all the manufacturers, and then off of that is all the different ships or vehicles that they make. So let's say we want to go look at a Drake Cutlass Black. Hover over that, click on it, and now this is now loaded up the stock Cutlass Black. And as you can see, all the information changed about the details and the components and everything else. So that's what the select ship or vehicle does for you. Now let's say you've made a whole bunch of changes and you now want to save it. You can actually save these in what's called your hangar. So I can save it as new in hangar, or I can update a loadout. Obviously I did not load this from the hangar, so I can't update it, but I can save it as a new hangar. Save it as new in the hangar if I want. So I'll click on Save as New Hangar, and I can give it a name, Cutlass Black Test. Any description is fine. Test me a baby, and click on Save. So in a little bit we'll talk about the hangar, but just know for now this is actually saved online, so you can retrieve it at any time, which is great. So, and on top of that, after you've saved it, you can click on this link here, and it copied a shortcut of the URL to your clipboard. So now, if I were to go, I'm going to go off screen here, and okay, and this is the URL they just gave us. So if I cut and paste that, go over here, do that, it'll pull up our Cutlass Black we were just playing with. So that's great. Awesome. Then there's the reset. There's actually a couple of resets in here, but this will reset the entire ship. So let's say I went in here and I changed this to, I don't know, that alien, and I changed from arresters to Viper 3s, and I decided I didn't like any of that. Well, if I click on reset, it will put everything back to stock. Or it'll put, I'm sorry, it won't put everything back to stock. It'll put everything back to where you started. So if it was a ship that you pulled out of your hangar and you made changes and you click on reset, it'll put it all back to whatever it was when you first opened it. Very nice. Now the other option you have for resets are, let's say you made changes to here, Deadbolt 2, and you changed these guys to, again, Viper 3s, but you wanted those Viper 3s, but you didn't like what you did up here to the all the weapons. You could actually just do a reset of the weapons, and just click here, and now the weapons are back to what they were when you first started. Now let's say we made a whole bunch of changes, and again, let's say, I think that already was that. Let's say we made it that guy, and Deadbolt 2, and Lightning Strike 2, and let's say we even, let's talk about the Veripucks while we're making these changes. If you click on this one, it gives you the option of either leaving it empty. Let's click on that. So now that hard point has nothing on it. Or you could pick, instead of picking the Veripuck S3, you could pick the size 3 weapon instead. So I can make it a Predator. So you can see we lost the Veripuck, and instead we got the Predator instead. Now we can flip it back to the Veripuck by picking the Veripuck, and then that leaves us with an empty slot below the Veripuck. Let's go ahead and take that guy. There we go. So we made all these changes in here, and we need to remember those items so we can go and buy them in game. Well, if you do this, well, first let me go over here and clear out empty my cart. If you click on non-stock items to cart, it will take anything that we just changed in here and put it in the cart. So we can then, there we go. So we open this guy up. There's all the different weapons that we just said we wanted to make change to the ship to. So now I could download the CSV file, and when I go in game, I know where I need to go to buy all this stuff and how much it cost and all that stuff. Awesome. So that is basically the ship storage section. Okay, then we have ship stats right down here. And like I said, I don't really understand all the numbers. I mean, the only one I'm ever really concerned about is the DPS. Honestly, that's all I ever look at. I barely even look at the turret DPS because I'm usually flying alone. But, you know, if that's something you're interested in, there's that information there too. As well as missiles. Missiles are important also. So that will change based on, you know, if I make, you know, I don't know, if I do that instead, we get a change there. Yeah, see how the value is changing for the missile damage. So that'll be reflected over here as you make changes in the different components and missiles, or components, missiles, weapons, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the calculator part of the site. Now let's go over to shops. Shops list all of the shops in the Stanton system and can be used for searching for specific weapons, components, or ships, listing where they can be bought. Let's say I'm looking for, let's say I'm looking for, what would I be looking for? A Panther. There you go. So I want to know where I can buy the CF337 Panther. That's listing all the different locations and the cost. So that's pretty cool. Reset to clear that. You can also open any of these individual ones. So center mass at Area 18. You can see what types of missiles, missile racks, mounts, basically all with different kind of items they sell. And then you could open it up even farther, showing you specifically what item they are and how much they cost. And that could be useful if you know exactly what you're looking for and you don't want to have to update a ship to get to it. This is very useful for that, and it has all the different, like here's all the platinum bays at all the different locations. So that's really kind of helpful. All right, so that's it for shops. Let's talk hangar. So matter of fact, before we do that, let's go back up to calculator. And then let's go to Hangar. Hangar opens up a separate window for you, and it shows you all the ships that you've saved that I showed you when we did the save in the ship storage section. So, and again, also you have a choice of either selecting live or PTU, and I have nothing in PTU, so everything's live. And then it shows you the name of what you put in. I just went with whatever the ship was called. Although, let me see, we have the. Yeah, there's our color spot test we just did, and there's a description for it. So it gives you a name plus a description, and also the manufacturer of the ship, and then it gives you the date that I think that's when you created it, or probably when last time you updated it. And then also, again, you can get a shareable link if you want to do that, or you can also delete the ship out of the hangar. And up here you can order by name or date. So that can be helpful. So now if we pick one, let's take my Buccaneer Bounty Hunter. It'll load up the design you had saved into the hangar. And then you can start playing with it. So that's kind of handy. And as you can see, I have 20 ships in my hangar. And let's say I make a change to this guy, like I don't have a Rhino anymore, maybe I'll do the Buccaneer Spinal with a Hellion. Now if I go to save, it'll let me do the update loadout. So I can do that. I can make any changes I want. I can say update. And save the loadout to the hangar. So there you have it, a quick review of erkul.games. Please feel free to add anything in the comments I may have missed or gotten wrong. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.